I'm Fletcher Rhoden, and this is Quotes and Quips. Today, words of wisdom from Dr. Benjamin Franklin. Quotes and Quips is brought to you by my website, FletcherRhoden.com. That's where you'll find links to my Amazon.com author page, where you can buy my books in paperback or for Kindle or in audiobook format. There's also a link to my Spotify artists page where you can download my music in its various subgenres. I've got new music for 2024. And you can download my music really from any number of sites all over the internet. At my website, you can get free music, which is available nowhere else. So check it out. Okay, Dr. Benjamin Franklin, sort of a friend of the show. He's oft quoted, very pithy fellow. And he gives us this quote. If you fail to prepare, you are preparing to fail. If you fail to prepare, you are preparing to fail. You hear this one a lot. And of course what it means, it's easy to understand, you gotta prepare, you gotta take into account certain contingencies, you have to have backup plans. You have to be informed as to what you're doing. In business management, they have a thing called the Pomodoro method. And to implement this method, what you do is work out a timeline. You start with your deadline. And you reverse engineer the project in terms of breaking it down into stages of things that have to get done. In order for the thing to be completed by this date, this has to occur the week before. The week before that, then this has to happen. The week before that, therefore, this has to happen. And you plot out the project in like a 6-week, let's say, timeline with 6 Pomodoros, those are the milestones at the end of the week, so that your goal is met by the end of the week. And if your goal is met at the end of each week, then your ultimate goal should be met at the end of the 6 weeks. It's called the Pomodoro method. You can read more about it in my book, Tracking the Lone Wolf, the Sigma at Work, at Home, and at Play. Or you can listen to it on audiobook. Anyway, so this is all about preparation. And if you do overlook this, then your odds of success in almost any venture are going to be slim. You know, you often hear things like, I've got a 5-year plan. Well, it's hard to look ahead for 5 years. That's a long Pomodoro method, from 6 weeks to 5 years. But that was a very sensible approach for a lot of people because it was goal-oriented. And even if there was some derivation in the plan because of things that happened outside of anybody's control, it still worked the participant forward. And without that, without a 5-year plan, without a Pomodoro method, you're just sort of hoping the thing gets done somehow, like the cobbler and the elves. If you don't know that story, it's cobbler went to sleep, and elves came in and did his cobbling for him overnight, and that was a great boon to him. I'm not sure how the story works out, but I imagine it's terrible. Anyway, the main thing is, you don't be like the cobbler, you got to prepare. You got to look ahead. You got to be aware of the things that might be coming against you. You've got to allow for contingencies. Every Pomodoro campaign, let's call it, includes the weekends, because if something goes wrong by Friday, and the deadline isn't met, then Saturday and Sunday have to be incorporated in order for the deadline to be met. You don't wait until Monday or Tuesday to meet the deadline of last week, because then you're going to be 3 days behind. The Pomodoro method includes working on the weekends if you have to. Do the right thing, yo. Huh? You work on the weekends, yo. Huh? Make your Pomodoro, yo. And thereby the thing, there are allowances, there are contingencies, there are allowances, things are prepared. Now it's hard to be prepared for everything, and you know, all of us in our daily lives, most of us don't have an extra $400 for an emergency. Much less are we prepared to meet all of our deadlines. But let's face it, a lot of us, many of us, do pay our bills on time. Many of us do, meet our initial deadlines, our immediate deadlines. And many of us also make our long-term projects work. But to do that, we do have to be prepared. As a musician and as a writer, I can tell you that preparation takes decades. For me, it did. For others, maybe not so much. I guess I'm a slow learner. But for me, that preparation took, decades. So that's what you have to be willing to do. They say that luck is opportunity colliding with preparedness. So again, you got to prepare. You got to be prepared. If you are failing to prepare, then you are preparing to fail. Now, this does touch on a little bit something we've discussed on this show on another edition, and it's the idea of overthinking, procrastination, which can come as a result of this psychological phenomenon called analysis paralysis. Analysis paralysis. So this happens when you're planning so much, you're doing so much preparation that you allow yourself the luxury of not actually doing the thing. It's a way of procrastinating, but you have a very brilliant excuse. Well, I'm planning it because I want it to be just perfect. And I really don't want to blow it, so I really want to make sure it's right. And then you allow yourself to spend all your time in the planning stages and you never execute. The reason for this is you don't want to fail. So this way, a person doesn't have to experience the risk of failure because they were in the planning stages still. That was their excuse. That is analysis paralysis. It's a part of overthinking, and it's a part of procrastination. So we're trying to avoid that, and this quote sort of brings that to mind. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail, but you cannot get locked in preparation. Preparation without action is like faith without action. It's dead. Preparing has to come and then go. I've got a Davy Crockett quote that I discussed in another edition of Quotes and Quips, and he said very famously, first be sure that you are right, and then go ahead. So the whole purpose of that, in brief, is that first be prepared with your knowledge. Know what you're doing is right. Know that it's right, yo. And then do it. Preparation without action, useless. Action without preparation, useless. So don't get mired down in the endless cycle of preparation. But if you fail to prepare, then you are preparing to fail. Take it from Dr. Benjamin Franklin. Okay, next week I'll be back on Monday at noon, as I am every Monday this year. So tune in again to this YouTube channel for another stimulating and provocative discussion, quotes and quips. Until then, you can watch reruns, or you can go to another YouTube channel of mine called Tracking the Lone Wolf and watch the other show, Tracking the Lone Wolf from 2023. Those reruns are all still up and still of value. So check it all out. I got the website and the books and the music and the show. So enjoy it all. Come back again. Until next time. Bye, Mary.